Hello, superstars, and welcome to April Assist Me. Today, I just want to do a little bit of a story time with you. Um, I have worked with and met some really incredible people over the years of me working in the entertainment business. And one of my biggest regrets is I didn't get a lot of photographs with some of these people. I've met and worked with some icons, and I don't have any pictures. Today is one of the days that I regret that because I've met Quincy Jones on several occasions, and I do not have a picture with him. I'm usually the one behind the camera taking pictures for other people, and I honestly should have jumped in on a lot of these pictures. But, um, yeah, so I just want to tell the story about the first time I met Quincy. I was working with an artist at Westlake Audio, and he was working in another studio in another one of the other rooms. He was working on the Q's Juke Joint album, and I wanted to meet him. I was like, "Oh my God, Quincy Jones is here! I have to meet him! Like, Quincy Jones is here, right?" So a couple of other people that were in my session went over into his session to say hello, and they said that he was really cool, and I was nervous, but I was like, okay, then I'm gonna go and say hello. So I walked into his room and I was like, I'm so sorry to interrupt you, Mr. Jones, but he was like, no, 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 just come on in, come on in. And he was like, what's your name? And he asked me what my name was, where I was from, and what I was working on. And he offered to play some of the music that he was working on, and he let me hear that. And I mean, just warm and kind and just very cool, and a storyteller. Like, he loved to tell stories, and I love that. Um, but when I told him that I was from Chicago, man, he went in on like reminiscing about his years living in Chicago and all the clubs that he played at. And he started asking me if I knew of any of these clubs. Like, he was naming all these places that really was before my time. So I was like, no, I don't know that one. I don't know that one. And he's like, I bet your mom knows. I bet you your mother knows those places. I'm like, she probably does. And he said, where is she? Where's your mom? And I said, well, she's in Chicago. But she was actually coming out to visit me. So I was like, she'll be here next week though. And he said, well, I want to meet her. I'd like to meet your mother. And I was like, okay. So I told my mom, I was like, Mom, you will never guess who wants to meet you when you get here. And I told her it was Quincy Jones. She was just like, oh my God. So, and she has her own stories to tell about when she met him. But everyone who I know that has met him, they have nothing but kind things to say about him. He made me feel, sorry, that's my dog barking. He made me feel like we knew each other already. He made me feel like we were already friends, and it was just the most wonderful experience meeting him. Okay, so I wanted to also include this part of the story. So, while I was sitting in his session chatting it up with him, where he was actually doing most of the talking and I was doing most of the listening. And so he asked me, he played me this one song, and he said that he was looking for a rapper to get on the song. And I said, he asked me if I knew of anyone that might be interested in getting on this song. So I'm like rambling in my brain to think of what artists that I know who might be available to come and rap on a Quincy Jones record. And so I couldn't think of anybody. I don't know. I don't know. I couldn't think of anybody in the moment. And he was like, oh, I know who I'll call. I'll call my buddy Todd. So I was like, well, great. He calls Todd. Todd comes down immediately. And guess who that is? That is LL Cool J. And then he introduces me to Todd, like, this is my friend April. I'm like, oh my God. So Also, there was Rod Temperton in the session with him. I met him as well, and just it was a really cool experience to get to sit there while he's recording. And I was trying to get back to my session, but he was like, "Oh, I want to play you this." He kept like getting me to stay. He wanted me to hear more songs, and um, how can you turn down Quincy Jones when he's wanting to play you some of his like classic music that you know is just going to go down in history? So I just wanted to say I want to send my sincerest condolences out to his family, to his friends, everybody who worked with him, who knew him. I mean, for him to make me feel like the way he made me feel the times that I met him, he made me feel like we were great friends. He was just so warm and so kind that I can just imagine the people who were actually in his life, like what this loss means to them. So I want to send my sincerest condolences out to them. And yeah, so rest in peace, Quincy Jones. We have lost an icon. We have lost a pillar in the music industry, and I am deeply saddened by that.